Maybe I'll play some Static X tomorrow night. You know, we do a metal show here on the Buzzard now. Coming up on the 1-year anniversary of 2 hours to midnight. We're going to play some Foot-Long Sack tomorrow night. A lot of fun. It's me, it's Corey Roddick, it's Pat Butler. I can't do it by myself. Usually starts around 10, but there's a 7:30 Cavs game tomorrow night, so probably start a little bit late, but immediately following Cavs Hawks tomorrow night on MMS. It'll be 2 hours to midnight. If you're a local metal band, by the way, I always like to play local stuff. We don't always get a ton of it either because people aren't hip to the show yet or whatever, but there's any chance I get to play local metal, I like to do it. So if you're in a band or just want to hear something, you can email me. It's 2htm@wmms.com. Post the playlists every week. We've got a page at WMMS.com, and we have a Facebook page, too. So it'll be tomorrow night after the Cavs game. Next week on the show, what do I have for you? We want to go back to Monster Jam. They are back at the Romo Fijo the 16th through the 18th of next month. So I'll have Monster Jam tickets for you. Sum 41, they're on their farewell tour. They'll do Blossom mid-September. Cavs Kings, The Charge, see some G League ball, the Wolstein Center. And if you like comedian Rob Schneider, he's going to do MGM Northfield Park on February 24th. Rob Schneider has kind of distilled a particular audience for himself over the past few years. He's kind of getting that Fox Nation crowd now. But I still think Rob Schneider is funny. Doesn't make him any less funny. It's just some guys have gone that route. Jim Brewer's another one who appeals to a much different audience than they used to years ago. So if you like Rob Schneider, I'll hook you up next week. I'll have those. So the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, when I was a kid, you know, I was a Chicago Bears fan. And unfortunately, they didn't have cheerleaders.
Closest thing they had was the SNL sketch.
Yeah, duh, Bears.
Duh, Bears.
We had the Love of Bulls. They were the cheerleaders for our NBA team. But we didn't have football cheerleaders. And not every team does. But the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders were always considered like the gold standard for professional cheerleading crews, right? It was famously, they were on calendars and posters. I mean, the Cowboys themselves were always, they were called America's team, right? And so the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders was a big deal. It probably still is. They're just not singled out as much anymore as they used to. But apparently they have beef with players for the Green Bay Packers. Now, you could understand the Packers probably don't know how to act around cheerleaders because I don't think the Packers have cheerleaders either. You know, not a lot of girls are going to stand out in Lambo and Carhartts holding pom-poms, but the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders said they've never had as much disrespect from an opposing team's players as they did from the Green Bay Packers when they played them in the wild card game. And Dallas proceeded to lose, of course. That was their first home defeat in a couple of years.
Stomped.
They really, 48-32.
Yeah, but that 32 came in garbage time.
Oh, did it?
That most of that game was under control. Like it wasn't close. Like it sounds closer than it was, but it wasn't. Like I think 3 of those touchdowns that the Packers got were in the fourth quarter when it was pretty much over.
Mm. Darian Lassiter is one of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. I mean, there's still a lot of cachet in that, right? You're like, I'm one of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. It's like still a big deal. And one of the girls said that the Packers players would be standing on the sideline yelling at them. She's like, we're minding our own business. We're waiting to do what we do. And that the players were very close to them and yelling. Unsportsmanlike conduct. And the girl's like, if they did this to the opposing team's players, they'd be in trouble. But they do it to the cheerleaders and nothing happens. And she's like, I know the playoffs are a big deal. I get it. But they were very, very upset.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So they were literally on the verge of tears.
Because the cheerleaders are underpaid.
Yeah, they're not making a
They're
ton
not
of
like
money.
say anything you want to the other players, but if you're talking crap to the cheerleaders that are just there, like, hey, I like to dance. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Just trying to make a little money dancing. That's all.
Yeah, they are really not paid a lot. I mean, it's professional sports cheerleaders. That's the original. You'll get paid in exposure. Because famously back in the day, they were getting paid like 50.
Skin.
Right, they were getting paid like $50 a game or something, and you got to keep yourself in really good shape. So,
Any of them got dump trucks like the Cavs girls?
Jesus Christ. No, nothing like that. But, I don't know. I haven't seen all the girls, but a cheerleader for the NFL makes $150 a game. They make $75 an appearance. So imagine you're driving through Dallas traffic to get to an appearance where it's $75. If you advance to the leader of your cheerleading team, you can make significantly more money. If you end up getting a salary with an NFL cheerleading squad, you can make about $75,000 a year. But that's not even a lot of money if you're cheering for a major market team. Denver Broncos have some foxy cheerleaders. All the warm city teams have them. Even if they don't have fans, they still have cheerleaders. But these Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders are very, very displeased with the Packers.
Well,
and they ended up losing anyway. Falcons have cheerleaders. Ravens.
Ravens have cheerleaders?
Yeah.
That's not a warm team.
It's not, no. Is it a dome in Baltimore?
No.
No?
I used to love the show that Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders making the team. I don't
Uh-huh.
know if you guys, if anybody else was watching
I
this.
didn't watch it, but I
CMT.
remember the
I know
show.
that it was on, but
Yeah.
I never watched it.
It was a CMT.
It was on CMT,
show.
yeah.
And dude, the way that they talked to these women, like and I know it's like hack or cliche to say now, but like the early 2000s and even into the 2010s were a wild time for women on television. Like they were having these girls who weigh like 110 pounds and they're all muscular. They've been dancing their whole lives and they just rip them to shreds. And like you said, for $20 a game or whatever it was back then, unless it's been the same the whole time, but just old retired coaches and stuff looking at them just being like, why are her arms thick? And I'm like, she weighs 100 pounds. Like, get out of here.
Well, a lot of those girls, like, they'll end up on The Bachelor or Dancing with the
yeah, but
Stars, things like
still.
that. But still,
that
yeah.
show was on for a long time.
I
And
think
they
it's-
were just berating women.
I think it's also because that's a gig where
Well, you'll notice that none of us watched it, so it was who was the audience?
Well, I mean, Cowboys fans probably.
No, not Cowboys fans.
women.
Women.
No, I know. It's same thing with America's Next Top Model, where they were just like calling girls plus sizes who were a size 6, you know?
Again, this isn't
That's
a
what
show
I'm
that
saying,
men
that-
are watching.
No, dude, I
yeah,
watched
that's what I'm
America's
saying
Next
is-
Top Model
I
religiously.
stand by what I said.
The first the first few years it was on, I mean, there were a lot of those shows that were like I had to watch them because my girlfriend was watching them, like Grey's Anatomy and that crap.
What about America's Top Model drew you to watch?
I don't know. I just thought it was. I don't know. Well, probably because my girlfriend at the time was watching it, and so that's one of those shows. Gwen watches a bunch of kind of trashy reality shows that I don't watch, but I swear to God, I sit down and 5 minutes later I'm sucked in. I mean, they have got the whole reality television universe. They have got it. It's like how companies wire your brain with sugar and fat and salt. That's why they call it junk TV, because it just rewires your brain. And nobody wants to sit there with a guy who's going, now who's that? Now what are they doing?
I can't.
So I just sit
I
there.
can't watch reality TV without somebody to watch it with. If I try and watch reality TV by myself, it's boring. But you
Well,
need
Gwen
someone
knows
to
that I'm
talk
not into
trash
that
with.
stuff, so she'll
Like-
watch it. But there's a couple that we watch together. But
Like the Traitors, I was trying to start
Traitors
the
are
new
like-
season, and I liked the first season, but I watched it with my ex-girlfriend, and I haven't watched it yet.
we're
So-
watching The Trust on Netflix, and we're watching Traitors.
What's the Trust?
It's similar to Traitors,
Okay.
actually. Yeah, but it's more. It's a big. The Trust is. The host is this woman who used to be on CNN. It's a group of people who have. There's a $250,000 pot. They're in this giant mansion in the Dominican Republic.
That's an expensive pot.
Yeah. Well,
Where'd they get it?
the
Probably-
Dominican Republic. It's
Well,
all. It's
but
all
like
local.
what store there? Like
Oh, I don't know.
Crate and Barrel,
No, it's pot.
Pottery Barn.
Williams Sonoma.
Ah, yeah,
Sur La
that's
Table.
expensive.
Yeah. No, it's $250,000 is the grand prize. But if they all continue to work together and not vote anybody off,
They split it.
they can keep the money. But little by little, personalities clash, and then they have to determine. For the most part, everybody's kind of working in concert with each other. But somehow it still manages to not be dull. Because I'm like, how are they going to do a whole show if everybody's kumbayaing the whole time because they're trying to keep the money? It's interesting. I mean, because I don't really have a stomach for like MTV drama type reality television. I don't care about that. It's
No,
not
the-
for me. I'm
the game
30 years
show
older
type-
than the people on TV. And
Yeah, the game show type ones that are more my speed
Yeah,
because
those are
it's
okay.
strategy and it's a little more interesting to me rather than
Squid
just like,
Game was
so-
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did you watch the Squid Game reality show? That was
Yeah.
fun. I liked that one a lot.
I wasn't gonna, but then she started
Yeah.
watching it, and I got sucked in. I was like, all right, I guess I'm watching Squid Game now. But I liked it. It was okay.
It was interesting.
I could watch Mob Wives at any given
But
time.
you like the
drama.
drama shows.
But like Mob Wives has like some history behind it as well, because everyone's tied to like a mobster. So it's like
But you're not watching it for the history.
I think it's cool because like I don't watch the Housewives, but I watch Mob Wives. And like Basketball Wives is like my also like another trash TV thing. Like that I'm watching for the drama. But Mob Wives, it's just different because I don't know, it has a certain glamour to it because it's like, ooh, they're all in the mob and this is how the wives act when they're born into like in this lifestyle, you don't snitch. We tear your kneecaps off.
Born into it.
If you're a rat. Like, ugh, I love it.
Hey, for anybody who thinks marriage is falling out of favor in our current culture, by the way, all of the reality shows are about wives.
Yeah, but a
Well,
lot
they're
of
all
them are ex-wives.
divorced.
Yeah, like it's
Everyone's divorced.
Everyone's a critic. Hey, here's $1,000. It's your second to last chance to win something this week, so I hope you do. It's from the Buzzard Bookie. Good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard Bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Green. That's green. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
Ravens cheerleaders are hideous, somebody said.
Hey, Ronnie likes them.
Speaking of Squid Game, I was reading about how there was an article in the Hollywood Reporter that they're developing a Chuck E. Cheese game show that's kind of like Squid Game.
Strongest child survives. Whichever kid doesn't get
over the river of
incredibly
puke.
sick. Yeah.
Adults will compete in supersized versions of Chuck E. Cheese kids games like The Claw. Hope they use the Motorhead song. I guess it was a bad time because they have to be. They're like capitalizing on that Five Nights at Freddy's movie doing so well. They're probably just kind of waiting in the wings to see if anybody would pay attention to that. But all
This
these
just
companies,
doubled there.
they own. Yeah, everybody owns all this intellectual property. They're like, well, we can't let it go to waste. The producers of Top Chef are making a Chuck E. Cheese game show.
Dude, I would destroy at this.
You should try to get on.
We went to Chuck E. Cheese so much as
Yeah, it's
kids.
the kids' casino.
Well, I think
I
that's
only
why.
ever went for, like my parents ever took us, I would only go if it was somebody's birthday party was there.
Yeah. Chuck E. Cheese was like a staple in our house. We were at Chuck E. Cheese all the time. And now I love going to arcades like with Brian and Blake, his daughter. That's something we do all the time. Like
I loved arcades as a kid, but like Chuck
Yeah.
E. Cheese. But that's not going to Chuck E. Cheese as much as you say you guys did. That's not cheap, right?
Well, it was like, I mean, it wasn't as expensive back then. It was free to get in. So if our dad or whatever was like,
And they had a playground that was free to play on too.
Yeah, the play place was free. So all
Does
the
it cost
sky
to get
tubes-
in now?
No. Well, I don't know anymore. I haven't been there in a long time. But
Okay.
it's free to get in, and then you're expected to buy things and spend your money on the games. So it'd be free to get in, and he'd be like, okay, we are all sharing $20 worth of coins. And then what we would do is that we would go up in the sky tubes and in the ball pit, and we would go down to the bottom and search for like coins or pull up pieces of
Tickets or
the
whatever.
soft padding to because coins would fall out of little kids' pockets and stuff like that. So we were always scheming.
They were
looking under
scavenging.
the machines and
Oh
stuff
my
for
God!
extra
Wasn't it
coins.
just like scummy from top to bottom though?
We didn't. Our house. We lived in a hoarder house.
Yeah.
Our
Okay.
house was
Yeah,
scummy.
that's true. Yeah.
It was something to do to get us out of the house for a couple hours.
Get
Oh,
some
But
you
still-
had coins?
burnt.
But
Yeah.
still feel like you were at home.
Yeah, you're out of coins. Sorry about your luck. Go play in the sky tubes. You know?
We did Chuck E. Cheese when we were real young, but it was more of good times and swings and things when we were older.
Yeah, we did, Chuck E. Cheese ran its course, and then it was more Dave and Buster's for my
We never went to Dave and Buster's as like
Dave and Buster's main event.
Oh yeah,
all
when
that
my
stuff,
older
yeah.
kids were little, I took them to when they'd come to Cleveland, we go to Dave and Buster's,
It's
one
the
right
best.
there in Westlake. Yeah, we had Showbiz Pizza when I was a kid, but I think that probably got turned into Chuck E. Cheese. See, a lot of people think Chuck E. Cheese is like gone. There's still like 600 locations around the country.
it
There's
just
still.
wasn't doing well here. Is that what it was?
I mean, they closed a couple, but I think that one in North Olmsted is still open, right by the mall.
I don't know about
I don't
that.
know. I don't know which ones are open.
Maybe because
and
everybody was
I
like,
stand like that's a good thing. Why would I know? My kids are grown.
right.
Why would I should not know?
No, I mean
what's
again,
going on with Chuck E. Cheese's?
we hadn't been there since before COVID when Nora had like a birthday party. But, Chuck E. Cheese was one of those places where people are like, oh my God, after COVID, they're dead in the water. But obviously a lot of places reopened after COVID. Buffets came back. Thought for sure those would go away. I underestimated our national hunger for buffets.
There ain't nothing like a buffet, man. I don't
Love
care
a
what you
buffet.
say. There ain't nothing like a
Love 'em.
buffet.
No, listen, I just didn't think that they would. I'm not a buffet guy, but I just thought for sure, in the red hot center of everybody flipping out over COVID, I thought for sure buffets were not going
No,
to come
because
back.
they combine two of America's best, or I guess guiltiest pleasures: greed, and cheap. Like we are greedy for food, and yet we don't want to pay a lot for it. And you can just you could pay $15.
Yeah, but even
and
though
then-
I was going to say, even those have to have
They're
gotten
more
expensive
for
and
sure.
stayed there too.
They're more expensive now, and
But that's why it was an incentive to not take it for granted, because we were like, we're about to get $15 worth of food. Like I would eat into, I would have to undo my top belt, like I would undo my belt and my top button, because I'm like, bruh.
You'd eat that much.
Yes, because I'm like, I gotta make
You're
it
at a
worth
buffet,
it.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I just don't eat dessert. I've never had room for dessert. Or I always thought that was just like, no one needs dessert. There,
You didn't get a wedge of lettuce and cover it in chocolate pudding?
but like there at like Golden Corral or something, I make it a point. I'm like, I don't care if I'm full. I'm gonna get some ice cream, something that's smooth, that doesn't take up that much space.
Something that's smooth.
like it will get. It
But
will
why
get into
not
empty spaces?
Why not eat less and leave room for ice cream?
I gotta get my money's worth.
shut up.
But what constitutes your if they're already cheap-ish, what constitutes your money's worth?
In my mind, I have to think like, did I eat $15 worth of food?
Yeah, you got to
And-
make it feel like
Yeah.
you got it.
But
Yeah,
that's
so if
not
I-
much food these days.
So if I'm sick, I'm like, yeah, I made sure I did not waste one little speck in my stomach.
yeah.
Everything is about me is full. If I'm gluttonous, like leaving there, then I got my money's worth. And that's what a buffet is. People don't like, I could have ate. No one leaves a buffet like, I wish you would have
It's not
ate
great,
more.
but it's a lot. So there you go.
And that's a plus?
It's good. It's good enough.
It's not great, and there's a lot of it.
but you get a lot.
Yeah.
It's not but it's not the
Quantity.
worst. Like it's okay. It's okay food, and then you can get a lot of it.
It's like that old joke about the old ladies. They were like, the food here is terrible, and such small portions.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Okay.
Corral.
See, we had 7 people in our family, so we go to the buffet, and they'd be like, "This is what you're eating today." So
That
figure it
I
out.
understand. I
You
get
wait
that.
until like 3 p.m. Nobody's eating anything. Go to the buffet. That's your one big meal
But
for the day. We're not having
Poundcake's
dinner.
like, did you ever unbuckle your belt?
Of course she did.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's also like, I mean, you just wear sweatpants. That's the.
My
That's
family.
the move,
Yeah.
honestly.
You're like, why are you wearing a belt?
My family would be mad if you left and you were like, I'm still hungry, or like I didn't.
Right.
Like you did. What do you mean you're still hungry? You didn't eat enough. Like so we wasted our money. So we would be prompted to go there and be full. Like if you didn't have like a plump stomach leaving there, then
You
would
didn't do
get
your
yelled at.
job.
Was it a special thing? Was it a weekly thing? What's the frequency
We
on the
went after
buffet?
church a lot.
Like on a Sunday morning?
I remember my grandma really liked
like
going to
lunch.
the buffet, so we would go after church on a Sunday morning. Yeah,
Yeah, it
like
would be
11 on a Sunday.
yeah after
Brunch.
church or like with like my aunt and my uncle all the time. Like that's just what they would do.
And it's probably packed right after church.
Yep, everyone's in the same little. That's
Yeah.
everyone's in the same suit. Like
I mean, that's like
line.
a trope where it's like someone that was just at church needs to get to a restaurant so they can be mean to a service worker. They're just at church. And
They
they're
were
like,
just done praying and then
Mhm.
screaming at people in
Right.
the parking lot for cutting them off.
it's the Lord's
I'm at the
Day.
beef station to carve my meat.
Carving stage.
We never went out on Sunday. Sunday we weren't supposed to spend money on Sunday,
Right.
so we would never go out on a Sunday. So when we go to, it would usually be like a Friday or Saturday night, and we end up at eventually Hometown Buffet. But when it
I was going to say, what was the
Ponderosa-
spot of choice?
Ponderosa was always the spot when
I
those
miss
were.
Ponderosa.
Poundcake, you're talking Golden Corral?
So when I was younger, it was Ponderosa, but then Ponderosa closed down. So then
It's
we
crazy that Ponderosa went out of business because
Yeah.
everybody I talked to is always like, "Yeah, that's the place we'd always
Yeah.
go."
Ponderosa, they turned our Ponderosa, I think it was like in Wellington or Elyria or something, one of the ones in Lorraine County. I think they turned that into a hometown buffet. And then that closed. That hometown buffet closed. So then it was Golden Corral.
Mary, there's a Ponderosa. I think in Warren, or did that one close
I don't know.
when you're home for a little bit?
We'll go to Ponderosa.
Ponderosa.
Okay.
In 1989, there were 700 Ponderosa locations. As of this past Christmas, there are 13 in the entire United States.
Wow.
Yep.